Um, this is a bad idea. This is a really bad idea. What in the world? I've been messing around a lot lately with different kinds of cameras, especially different kinds of cameras that we can fly in FPV. The primary drone that I've been using to do all this is this guy. The Shen Drone's Thick is an awesome drone for carrying cinema cameras, specifically the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K. But it's a lot. I mean, it's big. It's got 8 props. It needs a really big battery. It doesn't fit that well. It flies really well, but it doesn't fly like a quad. So I've been thinking, what kind of situation could I get a quad to work? And then I remembered that I built this 12S Miniquad last year, 7-inch props on gigantic motors with tons of torque. Half throttle. Full. Oh shit. And it should be able to carry a lot of weight. So my thinking was, what if we strap the Blackmagic to that thing and see how that flies by itself? So it's a terrible idea. I don't recommend anyone go out and try it, but I'm gonna do it so that you don't have to. So I built this bad boy a little bit over a year ago, and I've had a lot of fun with it, right? It's this insane 12S machine, and it's just a ridiculous contraption for flying. And I've been wondering recently, because it has such big motors and a consistent powertrain, that I wonder if it would carry this camera. This is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K, and while it's not going to be a great shape to put on this thing, I'm pretty confident that we can get it in the air. So I'm going to see about trying to get this thing fixed up, put back into a good position, and see if we can carry the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema. That's today's goal. Okay, so I've just finished rewiring it. First of all, I took out this guy, little micro crossfire receiver, because it's just not very good, and then I was able to get a better antenna. This is actually a DJI digital FPV antenna, but I needed an MMCX, so I needed that little right-hand adapter, and it's like just perfect for it. So it's probably not the ideal antenna for this, but it's at least something that I can kind of zip tie here and have it hang out the back. I still have 2 separate powered systems. One is going to be 12S in series for the actual power system, and then I also have a XT60 here for the flight controller, receiver, and video transmitter. Then the camera's hooked up here. I should really rerun these cables, but I don't really care. This isn't actually hooked up to anything, and the whole thing is ready. I'll give more of a tour later, but I want to see if I can get this camera mounted on that drone now. Good lord, that thing sounds horrifying. This is a bad idea. This is a really bad idea. Props are a little warm. They're motors, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was running at like maybe a little under half throttle. So yeah, let's charge it up and try it for real, because that was a little sketch. So this is what we've come up with. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that I'm proud of it. I'm in fact quite ashamed, but you know what? If it works, it works. I've already done a hover test here in the garage, so it definitely has enough power to fly. Whether or not it's going to fly well, who knows? But I had this foam wedge that I made for an X-Class style drone. This one. And it was a great solution for that. But I want to get it situated on here. And the only problem is the way that this camera is built, it's just a little bit wiggly up here. Like, it's not gonna like fall into props or anything. It just, I think we might see that in the frame. And then here on the back, the only way that I could get all the batteries, or both batteries on here, was to double stack them tall. And I think I need to go find another strap or two to try to keep that up there. And then actually it's triple stacked, because this is the flight controller battery. These are the two that are gonna be in series, and then they connect to the XT60 via this little parallel or series plug, and it all kind of wedges in there, and then I use this rubber band to hold everything in place. So it's not pretty, but it's effective. So we're gonna get it together, get it powered on, and take it outside for maiden flight. Oh, it's so ridiculous. Okay, everything's powered up now. I'm gonna try to get exposure locked in here. Okay, we are recording here. We're ready for maiden flight. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of line of sight, just with some punch outs, see how it does, and then we'll switch over to goggles. Honestly, that has a ton of power. Like, what? All right, here we go, FPV. That is insanity. Still recording? Okay. All right, here goes. Holy cow. It actually flies really well. Like, it's heavy. It's heavy as heck, but what in the world? Motors on the warm side, but not bad. It's a little chilly out today, so in their defense. What? That was absurd. It didn't care. We might be onto something. Freaking what? It flew so well. Like, I'm so shocked. Like, I was doing flips and rolls and stuff. Like, I mean, I can do that with the thick, but I don't usually like to. But I didn't tune it or anything. It just is. What in the world? Oh, the lens flares and the motion blur. Like, this is ridiculous. There's no... I did not think that was gonna work whatsoever. And here it is. Just looking stellar. I mean, what? I wanted to take a quick second to do a weigh-in on this. So I'm going to tar that out back to 0 and overload. That's too heavy. Okay, I guess we're going to do this the hard way. Okay. Camera by itself, 982. Oh, there we go. 130, no, 1300. 1380 plus 982, 2,362 grams. That's what you just watched fly through the air. So unfortunately, this was a very busy day, and I didn't have a chance to film like a proper transition into the next piece, but I finally got out to go for a golden hour flight with this bird, and in a place that's not like, you know, my front yard. So really excited to show this and where it ended up. I just did a flight with this guy. It was awesome. Perfect weather. I ran out to get it. I finished a run and sprinted over here to get this in the air while there was still a little bit of sunlight. I should, shoot, I'm gonna fly one more. So in reviewing this footage, it's obviously not perfect. One of the biggest problems with this setup is with that foam wedge, the camera kind of rolls back and forth and front and back. And so you can see in these aggressive maneuvers that I'm doing with the drone, the camera actually is shaking on it. The Tune, I actually noticed, or I guess didn't notice, that the whole thing was shaking around it all like this. But as soon as I got back and looked at the footage, I could see that the camera is kind of just blow, 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 back and forth, and that is causing all of the kind of wobbles in the footage that you're seeing. Another thing that I've noticed about this particular camera setup is that it's rectilinear, so there's no warping on the edges of the screen like where you would normally have super view, and we're not used to seeing that with freestyle, so it looks a little unnatural. What's amazing to me is that this is the stock Betaflight 4.1 Tune on a 12S drone with the biggest payload that you could ever have. I put this on my scale, and my scale can't actually measure high enough to know how heavy this bird is in the air. I gotta take it apart to even figure out how much it weighs. So clearly this whole video is just kind of for entertainment purposes, but it's also kind of giving me some ideas on what to explore with the potential for this 12S 7-inch chonky motors setup, because it flew way better than I thought, and makes me wonder, what can we get away with without having to do all the X8, really, really big motors, all that kind of stuff. Can we kind of keep it a little bit more compact and have a higher performing, snappier bird like this that you could potentially, freestyle a Blackmagic or a Panasonic BGH1 or something like that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this really silly video. It was a lot of fun shooting it and having fun just messing around with drones for once, trying something dumb. I would love it if you take the time to like and subscribe and all that YouTube-y stuff, and consider joining my Patreon or as a YouTube member. It's a big help for me to be able to keep making more videos like this. So thanks for hanging out, watching the video, and stay flying.